Hey Rick, how
Hey
you
man, how
doing?
you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good man, good man. What can I help
Telling
you
me
out with?
came
Oh, I see a face. I love it.
Yeah. How are you?
Good man, good man. What are you up to this Friday?
Nothing. I have to work. I'm still
Okay.
working on my W-2. I just have a couple questions. I'm kind of no new on but I started following you guys probably about 3 months ago, 4 months ago,
Okay.
and I started over and I went over the course. I'm putting a few of that. I live actually in California, so as far as right now, I haven't been able to close my first deal. I
Okay.
had a line under, I had a property before under contract. I couldn't find a seller. It was a land deal,
Okay.
so I couldn't find buyer. I'm sorry. But for now, I'm just kind of following. I decided to go virtual because everything around me it's like an 800 $600 price, like kind of medium price.
Got it.
Um, so I just want to make sure that I'm following the right, I'm doing the right steps to be able to close that deal. I mean, unfortunately I cannot do driving for dollars virtual,
Okay.
but I got some government list, like code violations. I got a few leads, but I only had like a $500 budget. So what
Okay.
will you recommend if I only have like a small budget? But you want to close your first deal, and with that amount, I have PropStream, which I've been having it for probably like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
That's kind of like when I and I was because I work on I have my 9 to 5, so it's sometimes it's hard to call in when I get home. It's already late East Coast time to
Okay.
do like virtual. So I was using texting instead, and I was doing text messaging. I was using ARIA reply. I got probably like 2 or 3 leads, but I don't. Am I doing everything right, or am I on over spending money?
Okay. What type of work is it you do, if you don't mind me asking?
Working in retail.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what attracted you to wholesaling in the get go?
I mean, first, just getting a better opportunity for my family.
Okay.
Spending first, one, spending more time with them,
Okay.
and two, just creating a better life for them, and like for myself.
Okay.
I think I deserve better. So
I agree 100% with you. So, you always got to start with why you're doing something because I'm here to tell you this is not easy. I'm going to repeat this to everyone. I'm not selling you guys a course on how to make $1 million by doing nothing. Okay. If you want to register for that course, go find someone. I promise you, someone will sell it to you and they'll
yeah,
disappoint you even like worse. So, knowing
yeah,
that is it does take a special person to do wholesaling. It doesn't take a special skill set, it takes a special person because you have to go against the grain of what society teaches. Get an education, get a good job, just follow the norm, don't question anything, and you'll have a decent life. I subscribe to this. Dude, it doesn't work. It doesn't even slightly work. And now with the times we are now with inflation and everything, it's reckless and it's dangerous. Okay. I grew up in a time where I could even still work an hourly job and afford an apartment. You can't do that anymore. It's like you got to have
yeah.
everybody working and doing it. So to me, I didn't wake up till I was 33 when I did this. So how old are you, Eric?
I'm actually 43.
Okay. So you're still a young man because you're much younger than I am. So you're almost 10 years behind me. So I don't care how old you are. You got plenty of wisdom, plenty of everything. You First of all, you have to pick your market you're going to be in. Okay. I always try to
Yeah,
get people to do locally, but like sometimes if you're in LA, New York City, Miami, like I'm not here to have you struggle, especially if you only have a $500 budget. Okay. So what methods of marketing do you feel you're strongest in?
I mean, for now, like I've been doing texting, but I just think I'm kind of spending more money than I'm supposed to. So I'm okay by cold calling. I
Okay.
just started probably last week. I set up the free dialer, the Zach talks about.
Yeah.
So I set it up with Google
Yeah.
Voice, and I think I got dial pads, like a kind of like a click to call thing.
Okay.
So I've been doing that. So I'm changing my numbers because I'm afraid kind of like the carriers are gonna flag my phone number.
Okay.
So that's what I've been doing, call calling, and then the texting. Like I said,
Okay.
texting has been easier because I'll send the text messages, and when I'm at work, I'm kind of responding with my phone.
Hmm.
So I have that little time to do that, and then maybe I follow up on
Okay.
my break, on my lunch, or the next day.
So here's what I want you to do is you're right on point. So the first thing is I would start with government lists because they're going to give you your absolute highest probability, in my opinion. Like end
Hmm.
of story. So you're familiar with the government list. You go through in your market, get as many as you can. The idea is to skip trace them and cold call them. That is the fastest way to get a deal. And if you're on a limited budget and a limited time, in my opinion, it's kind of the only way because you don't have driving for dollars because you are virtual. Um, I like the texting. The problem with the texting though is some people use it as a band-aid. It's much more scalable and you do have the luxury of flexing your time with it. The downside is at some point you have to convert them from text to phone. I've never ever actually I did one deal via text and that was a fluke, but it was hundreds of thousands of text just to get that one. Okay. So understanding any type of text, you're going to have to convert it to a phone conversation anyways. That's why cold calling kind of streamlines it. Some people hate
Yeah,
cold calling, but if you want the fastest way to connect with the seller without getting in your car, wasting all the gas, getting on a plane, driving in your car, a cold call is the fastest place because once you have them on the phone, you don't have to play the phone tag like you do on texting. So then they start
yeah,
texting you, and then you're trying to find out if they're serious. I got to tell you, when we did the text campaign, Zach used to drive me nuts. I go, just pick up the phone and call them. And we found out it was just easier to skip half the texting and just call the damn people because you waste so much time. And
yeah.
no one's going to sell you a house via text. The text is just to scale it and gauge people's response. You have to convert them. So, in my opinion, cold calling is actually kind of easier. I'm just saying because by the time you text, you set up the software, you pay for it, you already skip trace the number. What if you just skip the trace the number and just call them? Like get it over with. That's how. Whenever we need a deal real fast, that's how we did it. Now I have much longer forms, but I'm just trying to give you a quick snapshot of what needs to be done, and then you've got to go through a large volume, and you just got to sort through the ones that don't have the motivation and narrow it down to the ones that have the motivation and just have conversations with those people. The more conversations you have, the higher your probability of doing it. You always have to
Okay,
focus on things that are actively moving you closer to a contract. Listen, I get it. You got a limited time schedule and I get it, but we all have 24 hours. You can't be calling people in the middle of the night. And you can't call them early in the morning. So you're going to have to adapt that part of it. I can't fix that. I would just move much more quickly with text. The slightest interest, I just be calling them, man. Just because I found like the text is like 15 or 20 back and forth. It just gets, I don't know. I'm a little bit older than you, but like I am not a texter. You text me once or twice. I'm like, pick up the phone and call me. Because when I have you
yeah.
on the phone, I can at least gauge your tone if you're being serious. I'm here to tell you, you got ask people screw with you on text. Like people like to waste time, and I hate that part of it. So, government list, cold calling, and just increase your volume to as many people as you can talk. And remember, you just go through the 4 qualifying questions. You understand what they are, right?
Yes.
MCTP. Just go through it. And honestly, 95% of them they don't want to talk to you. And if you know that going up front, then just prioritize your questions so you can get through it and just be polite and move on. And that's it. So it's if you're going to do it virtual, did you pick out your virtual market yet?
I did, yes.
Okay.
And now
I
also, I had questions if I pick a good one or not. I mean, I saw cash sales and kind of like what Zach talks about it, like 200 under 250,000 population and all that.
uh-huh. So yeah, so
So
that's remember when you decide to pick your market, hopefully you're using other people's intel that are active in that market. So because you don't waste money. Okay. So if I have a wholesaler that's having success and he has a cash buyers list and I'm on it and they keep popping up, then I'm just going to reverse engineer it and see what areas he's having success in. And then I'm going to go back and target it. period. And like, don't overthink this, and then just go and then test it. Don't go all in the market, test it a little bit. So if you're going to call 2,000 people, call 300, just see what happens. It's very interesting, Lobo. Like, I can go from one market to the next, and you can just feel the attitude change. It's like, I don't know what they do up there, but like, they're a really nice people. And let me tell you, in Florida, like, there's some counties, man, people are brutal. Like, it just, to me, it's like one county over. It's that much of a difference. So like, yep, that's how it works. And so you'll find
Yeah.
it out. And sometimes, a lot of people are like, well, what's the response rate on something like this? I'm like, listen, what's the attitude of these people? Do they want to sell houses or not? And a lot of times you'll find some markets moving a lot more fluid than others. The beauty of a virtual market is you can pick up and pivot. You're not married to make it work. Sometimes they just don't work. You don't have the right type of sellers. And once you understand that, so I always reverse engineer it and I test it. That way, if I pivot, it's not painful. A couple $100, move on to the next market. But if you find a couple deals and you did it in a small test batch, it's a really good sign, and you should go all in on that market and give it the full 2 or 3 months to see what's going on with it. Because then you got to figure out what you can sell stuff for. And that's a whole nother obstacle, because you got to get familiar with the pricing in that market. And the only thing that's going to get you familiar with that is time and dealing with a lot of sellers. Make sense?
Okay. Yes,
So you
makes
just got to
sense.
tell you, I can't fix your schedule. You're going to just have to adapt and move to it. You have the same 24 hours, but I get it. You are a little bit limited on the cold calling because you can't do it late at night and you can't do it early in the morning. The rule of thumb is you should be cold calling, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Anything later than that, it gets a little risky.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
let me tell you, this business isn't
I'll
sexy,
definitely
guys.
try. I'm gonna do that. I'll keep you guys informed. I mean,
Yeah. Just have fun with it. It's just like, honestly, it's not a huge brain powering thing. It's stressful because it hasn't worked yet. And that's what's causing you the anxiety. So we just got to go. The more people I get through, the sooner I am to getting a contract. The more people say no is closer to the yes. 95 to 97% are going to say no. And if you accept that up front in cold calling, it's so much easier. Like, nobody's giving me a yes. I go, that you're going to get so few yeses. If you're looking and depending on a yes, you just need a few of them to talk to them. That's it. And then once you have them, your job is to guide them through and go through, and then just keep doing it over and over again. And once you get established in the market, then you can bring some other tools to the chest. But you're on a limited budget, a limited amount of time. You've got to really precision focus that arrow on it. And if you can do the cold calling, I would definitely do that.
Oh well, I will try my free time. I mean, whatever text messages leads that I already sent, I'm gonna use those for calling.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's landlines in there too. So
You
yeah,
got it.
absolutely. Thank
Okay,
you so
bud.
much. I do appreciate
Okay.
it.
I'll talk to you.